actually getting all blurry-eyed before I came here, and I was like, not today. So, like, pumped myself with Panadol. I was like, sister.
Hello.
Hey, not dogging the boys.
No, thank God, because you would have got an episode of just me talking.
Yeah, we don't need that.
It'd be that'd be
No.
We would spiral down after that.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, but
I was very nervous. How are you? How are you?
I feel a little bit anxious today. That's the first thing that I would like to discuss is my anxiety. Why am I putting on a voice?
Yes, that's good. Well, we are going. I feel like I'm being a psychiatrist. Yes. Oh, hang on. You didn't remind me to put my cardigan over my tummy.
Where's your notepad? You got to psychovalue me.
How does that make you feel? Oh, look how clean your sneakers are compared to mine.
I know, and they're so white.
Anywho's, so we are talking, we want to get into a bit away from photography for a minute because we've realised a lot of our listeners aren't photographers and they just like listen to us dribble shit.
So we put a poll up on our Instagram and it was pretty much, what did you want to hear more of? Photography, personal, or both? And a lot of people responded saying they wanted to hear more personal as well as both. Photography can be entwined into it, I guess, but
yeah.
A lot of people wanted us to open up.
Open up.
Yay.
So, yeah, we decided that there's so many things we could have gone with mental health. It was a bit overwhelming. But we thought postpartum, we can talk to our mums about it, our newborn mums or each other. We've both struggled with it in places and stuff.
Yeah.
I think everybody does.
Yeah.
But everyone feels like that they go fucking insane because they don't know that the other person's.
But I think the main thing is people don't want to talk about it because it's such a vulnerable thing. Mm-hmm. They don't want anyone to know that you're struggling.
Yeah.
And
like you're a bad mum or something.
Yeah, or like have an opinion or judgment come across. So it's like really a hard thing to talk about, but I know a lot of women do go through it. Yeah.
More so than not, really. I don't think there's any mums in the end when they open up about it be like, well, it's fine. I was happy the whole time.
I mean, you get the 1%ers that are like the minority. They're like, yeah, I love children. I could have them all the time. It was so easy for me. And it's like, I want to be you.
I want to be you with a care carnival and a million kids.
I just want that in my life. But
so maybe we reached out to people on our social media. So we have got some stories to tell as well, but we might wait till the end because it might be a bit heavy to start. I don't know how depressy, stressy that we'll get into it, but we'll definitely share our experiences. Eisha, you're probably easier. You've got one kid. I have 83. So I have 83 different stories.
Well, I have 2, including Jeremy.
That's true. I have 4 or 5.
No.
So, all right, you've popped out Bloom.
Disclaimer, like we aren't professionals.
Oh, thank you. I forgot.
We aren't professionals.
No.
This is just our own experiences and our own journeys, and the people that we've spoken to have had similar.
Yeah.
If you are really struggling, please seek help.
Go to a GP. I'm sure there's numbers and stuff we might be able to put up in the
1300-655-506. No, that's not actually.
That's the reading writing hotline. So if you can't read, perhaps not for postpartum depression.
Anyway, we'll pop some links or whatever.
Yeah. So you've popped out Bloom. Well, did you have any I think we've both had mental health things. I mean, it's so hard because I don't think I've met anyone that's not an anxious or depressed or, I think everybody's got something going on before they have kids. Like, is there anyone out there just living their life? Free from their heaviness?
Just nothing up in there, just chill as a bean. I don't know. It just depends on like how far back you want to go because I feel like I wasn't aware.
Oh, yeah.
Like self-awareness was a huge thing when I went through my pregnancy and birth and things like that. And I was like, holy shit. Like,
yeah. All right. Well, let's maybe, because, I listened to the Big Energy podcast actually, and there was 2 girls on there and they were talking about mental health and that was really good. But like listening to them, you can just go so many directions.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to keep it postpartum. So let's go. You've popped out Bloom. She's out. She's here. How do you feel? How do you feel?
Well, my mum was in the birthing room and she recorded everything and my face was just like, what the fuck?
When she was on you?
Like on me. I'm in the bathtub. This little alien baby's on me and I'm just like looking at like, what the fuck did I just go through? Because it was like a whole experience. Like it's just a spiritual awakening, I like to call it. You're just going from one milestone to the next, but you're not even like aware of the impact that it does on you.
100%.
And then I just remember being in the hospital and pushing Bloom into like our little night stay, and like I thought she was not breathing, and I was like to the nurse, "Is she dead?" Like obviously so sleep deprived, just been out of labour.
Just had labour.
But I was like, that was the start of my anxiety. It was just like,
really? Do you reckon that's when it just went bloop, like still in hospital?
Still in hospital, like afterwards, because I hadn't processed anything yet.
It's wild.
It was like, is she dead? Is she breathing? I don't know. And I have to be awake, like looking at this little child. But I'm so tired.
I just want to go to sleep.
I don't want her to die. But then it was just like, yeah, it was a lot.
Yep.
It's 4 years later, I'm still processing.
100%. I'm 3 kids in and still processing it. But anyways.
So like, what was it like with Fletcher though?
So
because you've had 2 more after that. Like,
I know. It's so weird. With Fletcher, I just never, like, I think I was fine with him. Like, I was in a really shitty relationship, and I honestly think that just distracted me from how, like, all the stresses that would come with Fletcher.
yeah.
So I was, like, cruisy as. Like, nothing worried me. Nothing really scared me.
You're like, I got my little buddy.
Literally. Like, my friends would be like, oh, aren't you so scared of, like, SIDS? And I'm like, no, never even.
What's SIDS? No.
Yeah. Oh, but, like, you know,
Yeah.
or are you worried about, I don't know, him choking on his food? And I was like, no, nothing ever. Loki. Then Loki comes along. I'm in this secure relationship, so loved. And then I just spiraled after him.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Because he's your like ruthless child a little bit, hey. He likes to play devil's advocate and
yeah, well that's true too. But I don't know, just as soon as he was born, I just and I don't know. Like I don't know whether I was just so numb with Fletcher that like it's hard to say now because I just worried about everything with Loki.
Yeah.
Everything. Like when he went to bed, I would just watch him to make sure his chest was still moving.
yeah.
Were you like that? Were you really like just scared of all the possibilities?
I mean, to an extent, like Bloom did sleep in a cot until she was like 8 months old, and she was fine.
Since she was born in a cot? Or
No,
was
she co-slept or in a bassinet, like, and we sort of co-slept that way. But when she was sort of big enough, she went into a cot and she slept in there for like a few months, and I was fine. I had the baby monitor in there, so I like always had like watch of her.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, I was just an anxious person outside of my house.
Yeah.
So I was like happy with her, and not worried about her dying or anything like that. But it was just like my anxiety manifested into other areas of my external world at that point.
Yeah, right. So not with her.
Not with her.
But just you in general.
No, and it was just, I think it played a huge part. She wasn't the best sleeper. So me having lack of sleep, everything else in my external world was just like anxiety.
Yeah.
My anxiety didn't start coming back into her when she was like 6 months old and she had to like start eating food.
Yeah.
So like the baby stage was pretty good, just minus the sleep.
That's amazing. Yeah.
But then when she started eating, I was like, is she eating enough?
Yeah.
Is all this stuff? I did baby-led weaning, so I was like researched a lot of that. I was pretty chill with her eating and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was mainly like, I was just very rageful.
Yeah, so I was actually going to ask you, I never had any, what's it called, like postpartum rage or anything, but you want to talk about it because I know a few people said in the thing that they just felt like that they were just, I just can't even explain it.
It was a mix of things. It was like the lack of sleep, and I was like, why isn't this child sleeping?
Was she a really bad sleeper?
Really bad. Like
What's
45 minutes. Awake and then breastfeeding at the same time. She was just on my boob all the time, and it was just overwhelming because overwhelmed with touch, like sounds. I was awake all the time, and I was just like angry. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why is this my reality?
Yeah.
And then I was pissed off because Jeremy got to go to work and I had to stay at home, and I was like, why does this fucker get to leave the house and I have to stay at home and, deal with this shit?
That's so wild though, because like that you had that rage, whereas I know other people that are just depressed. So rather than being like, wah, they would just like rock back and forth and just be like devastated and sad more so. Isn't it funny that like the same situation could bring out
I think
completely different emotions?
It all comes down to like people's personality or their persona or how they deal with them, emotions, I suppose. I've always been an angry person.
Yeah. So that was just it.
and that's why I drank a lot. Like pre-children as well. So it's like after having a child, I was like, I have all this anger and I can't just like drink, party, socialize, get it out of my system. Like I was confined to my house. So trying to deal with that, and then, you know, like I was out all the time, and having a child, I didn't want to be out all the time, and I was inside, and I just like had no one else to really talk to besides my best friend.
Yeah.
She had children at the same time, so she was really going through it. So
Yeah.
we're both just like separate houses, just rageful, just like going through it. We're just setting each other like, this is fucked up, but
that's so good that you had someone else someone else to go through it with.
yeah.
When I had Fletcher, I found a good group of friends who I'm still friends with now, and we were like a mum's group in an inbox together. But I wasn't like, I don't know, I think I was just depressed about other shit. But it was so nice to have other people, even just to be like, oh my God, like he's getting a tooth. Or, you know, like all our kids are about a month apart. So
Yeah.
we could go through that together. I can't imagine not having someone to talk to.
Yeah, no, that's what I was really grateful I had someone to go through.
Absolutely.
And don't get me wrong, there were still times that I celebrated those, you know, milestones, like first tooth, or they slept through for like 3 hours, and it's like, fuck yeah.
3 hours sleep.
But yeah, I think it was like a lot of anxiety and rage and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, I didn't talk to anyone about it besides my best friend, and Jeremy was also at home and he knew, but like my family wasn't aware.
Did you have a name for it? Did you know that it was postpartum rage, or did you just think you were just being a fucking arsehole?
No, I just thought I was fucked.
Yeah.
I just thought I was fucked in the head, and I was like, I should not. I was at that point, I'm so ungrateful. That's how I felt. I'm so ungrateful. I'm not enjoying my child.
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying life. Like, what's the fucking point of it all? And it just, then that made me feel guilty, and then that was like the catapult of more emotions. It's like, you know, it's just like a fucking paradox. It's just never ending.
Yeah.
And it really fucking sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I could imagine so. With Loki, I would say I was like just anxious. And I think maybe because I'm such an anxious person anyway. I mean, I don't know, but I just think, isn't every fucking body? But I know with Loki, it just like tilted me into a different dimension. And like, you know, I was terrified that my 4-week-old baby would end up in the paddock and fall in the concrete water tank, and I would not know that he was in there.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't know, so that happened a lot with Loki. I just had these like obsessive thoughts. It's like it would pop in my brain, and then it would just be like smack, smack. Remember this, remember that, and just keep going. Or like I might accidentally put him in the oven. I remember that was one. Or the washing machine. But like, you know, I don't know. I never said them out loud because I was like, girl, you are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you are actually going to end up in a clinic. But I never said them out loud.
And that's another reason why mums don't talk about what they're going through, is because they don't want their children to be taken away.
Absolutely.
So I know this is my best friend's story. I'm not going to share it, but I know she wanted to seek therapy because she had very like rageful thoughts as well. And she was like, I'm just too scared to talk to anyone about it because I don't want them to take my children away from me. And I'm like, there's not like, that's the hard thing about asking for help or talking about it, is like, the more anxiety and the more thoughts that come with it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important to find people that you're like close with and you can like resonate with.
I think you definitely need to talk to other mums. Like I remember talking to one of my friends who doesn't have kids, and I was like, aren't you scared of dying? That one day, oh God, I don't even want to say, like I feel like I don't want to say too much, because if there's people who have the same brain as me, I don't want to give them ideas, because like, quick side track, but I think TikTok ruined me. Like I've had to delete TikTok, but like I'd be laying in bed with my newborn baby just scrolling TikTok, and it'd be like you know, babies coming up with SIDS who have died, or like that their husband died at 27 because of like a brain tumor or something. And then then I would watch them, and then I'd be crying, and then the more you cry or whatever, the more videos come up, and I thought, this is a sign.
The phone is like watching you and reacting. It's like, here you go, here's more.
Literally. And I thought, it's a sign, this is a sign, and when my baby dies of SIDS, I'll know it's not because I watch TikTok, but like that TikTok was trying to tell me, and then I had to
give you a sign.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I didn't have TikTok till like 10 months ago.
I use it now. I deleted it, and I was not allowed on it. Or I just didn't use it. I have it back now for like recipes. Like I write in like, what's a mean roast pork recipe, and then I'm allowed to use it. But then if I start to scroll, I bet you I'd end up on that crazy shit again.
Yeah.
And then I would be Ben's the clinic.
I think that's the thing, is like making sure your mind doesn't consume those thoughts.
I think like I wanted to get into this a bit further down the track, but I think it's hard. You know, if you keep telling yourself, I'm so depressed, I'm so depressed, I'm so depressed, and this is why I'm depressed, I think that's like the worst thing for you. You kind of just make that your own reality. I think the best way, I mean, it's hard. This postpartum stuff is like another level. Like keeping busy just isn't it.
Well, what do they say? They say usually it's up to 7 years after you give birth to a child. And then if you have another child within that 7 years, it restarts. So you have to allow your body 7 years to replenish and go back to how things were normal before.
But then I wonder, do you ever go back to normal? I can't remember what my normal is.
No, actually, my friend Wig, she told me, like, when you go through birth, your brain actually goes through, like, this next development stage, and it's like you are self-aware.
You get dumber and your short-term memory's gone.
I mean, mum brain, always. But, no, you can't go back to normal, but you start to feel like yourself again in terms of, like, your happy self, and not everything's so doom and gloom. So that's it. That's very important, is like when you have these thoughts, like when we're talking about this sort of stuff, it's like just recognizing that it is just a thought and not to hang on to it. And just, it's like meditation. Just let it go.
Yeah.
You're not your thoughts, in other words.
I think so. I think like I try to tell myself that with my things, but I think I just keep reminding myself, I'm like, 16 months postpartum. My brain just needs a minute. I'm sure. I just need to come back to reality a bit.
You don't realize all the stuff that you are doing. Like, you're doing a lot for 16 months postpartum. Like, you're working, you've got 3 kids, you're doing all the podcast stuff. Like, you are doing amazingly.
Not
because
busy
I was in the ground. Like, I would not have even thought about that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, it's good that you're keeping yourself in this routine, because it sort of keeps you in reality.
I think it does. Like, I always find, I don't know if you found, I suppose in those early days, you're not doing anything to keep your brain busy. So I always find that I'm not thinking about bad stuff until I'm sitting around doing nothing, especially when I'm going to sleep. I close my little eyes and I'm like, and then it's like, hey, imagine if you died. And I'm like, oh, awesome.
I don't need this.
Yeah.
And that's why we have white noise machines playing at night time.
I have my rain. It actually drops rain like a diffuser. So it goes drip, 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 drip.
Yeah, Bloom has her white noise in her room, but I just like scroll TikTok. I don't even like watch it. I just scroll, and it makes me drowsy.
It's your eyes
because
going up, down.
I can't just like put my phone down and just close my eyes. Like, my brain just goes a million miles a minute still.
Ugh.
As well.
So after you had Bloom and you were going through all of that, did you ever go on antidepressants or anything like that? Or did you see a doctor about it?
No.
Yeah.
I went through it. I'm
still raw dog.
Who's a doctor? No. No, I didn't talk to anyone about it. Like I said, no one knew that I was going through it.
Yeah.
It wasn't until now that I'm out of it, I was like, I can talk about it. I was like, I was really fucking going through it when I was with Bloom.
Yeah. I always hear that with first-time mums, that they don't talk about it until after, and they go, yeah, I probably had postpartum depression. And it always just makes me so sad, because how is that missed? How a doctor, like, is it because we're telling doctors we're fine? Is it because we don't actually see doctors that often?
I think
we're not getting proper care after having children.
It's really hard. Like, when I gave birth, I had like 2 midwife appointments after I gave birth. You know, she came to the house.
Was that through COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah, Roger.
She checked Bloom's weight and her length, and like made sure she was growing fine, and there was no.
I don't know if
Is that Marley?
Yeah. I don't want to
Sorry,
yell
we
at the
hear her
microphone.
howling.
Hey, Marley! Okay, I'm going to cut that. Maybe not. Maybe you can have it. A little treat.
She came to check on Bloom, but like, and she was like, how's everything going? Like, you don't have any signs of depression? I was like, I'm still processing that this kid came out of my vagina.
I'm just trying to figure this shit
and
out.
I'm like so sleep deprived still, and I'm like learning how to breastfeed. I'm picking up how to be a fucking mum, because you have no idea. It doesn't come with a manual.
Yeah.
It's just like, here's your kid.
Enjoy.
Go survive, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't even think that I was aware that I was like, depressed.
But don't you think then there needs to be steps
100%
that doctors can be able to pick it up? Because, and then, you know, like, there was no signs. It's like, but I bet there was. I fucking bet there was signs, and no one picked it up. You know, was she just locked in a house for months on end?
But that's why, like,
depressed.
even I was talking to my mother-in-law about this. I think Bloom was like 4 months old at the time. And she's like, I was telling her, I was like, it's so rough, isn't it? She's like, yep. She's like, now you understand like why you hear those things on the news, like tragedies that happen with like families, is because people are going through it. They're sleep deprived. Their life has been taken from them and they're adjusting. Like it's a lot on the brain.
And then, you know, sometimes too, they haven't got the supportive partners.
No.
Like I definitely didn't the first time.
Yeah.
But I definitely did with Terry, who would like cook and clean and take the baby so I could sleep and, you know, all of that stuff. But I just feel so bad for women that don't have that.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people who are struggling, but it's our healthcare system.
I think so. I don't know. One of my friends actually had a really rough go with both babies, I think, just like a very spiraled depression. And I know with her second one, they reached out and said about a place down in Hobart that's like a retreat. Not a retreat. Well, like a holiday.
Anywhere away from your kids is at a retreat.
But it's
all
for
right.
postpartum mums. It's only through private health. Otherwise, it's private. Yeah, I guess it's cheaper if you have private health or whatever. But I can't remember how much it was. Like a couple of grand a night, and you go down there, and they have all the pediatricians down there. You get to rest. They sort of do like a psych assessment on you, go through your baby, see why they might be, you know, up, or if they've got anything. Basically, just full 5-star care, and that's down in Hobart, I think. I'd never even heard of it. Like, never heard of it.
Okay, I'm a new mum. Where are you going to find that money, though?
Yeah, that's exactly right. But if you had private health, it was cheaper. I should have got this info off her before the podcast. But she was so depressed, and I'm pretty sure she ended up saying to her doctor or something like, I just feel like I want to kill myself. I don't think she was at the point where she would, obviously, but she's just like, I'm fucking scared. I feel like I'm going to do this. Or whatever. And then they'd said, oh, well, there is this place down here, but I swear it was like $5,000 a night or something, or $5,000 for 3 days or something. She's like, well, I can't afford that, so
my anxiety wouldn't have even let me leave the house to go do something like that for myself. No, you know.
Yeah, to be like locked down.
That's so good that I know about it now. Can I still go?
That's what I mean. Yeah, I'm still postpartum, but I don't understand. Like, I think I was on my second kid by then. Never heard of it. Still, technically, other than her, never heard of it.
So I know in other cultures, like you got your Indian cultures, like your Asian cultures and things like that. I know that Sweden in particular, or Germany and things like that, they have very good healthcare systems. So it's like the mother stays with the parents and their village looks after them.
They stay in bed for like, 7 days in bed, 7 days on the bed. It's like in it, on it, next to it or something.
Their culture's all about nurturing the mother to get fit to go back and work in society after a year. So there's people there that are caring for the mother and looking after the mother, making sure she's fed and her mental health is all good, and just like really being like a village.
Yeah.
It's so unheard of in Western culture.
Yeah.
Like it's so foreign to us. It's like, well, we need that. But it's just like the difference. It's so different.
I mean, Australia, we're pretty lucky. America's scary. I swear you get 4 weeks off paid in America, and then you're meant to go back to work like 4 weeks after having a baby.
They don't even get like Centrelink or anything like that.
No, well, that's true too, but I'm pretty sure it's 4 weeks. I remember thinking, oh my God, you wouldn't have even stopped bleeding by then.
No.
That's fucking crazy.
No, that's stressful.
No wonder people over there just want to jump.
Sorry, we shouldn't laugh. We have yeah.
We're
lighthearted. We try to keep things lighthearted
for sure. But yeah, Australia, we're pretty lucky, but it's still, we're so clogged up in the mental health side of things. I mean, I tried to get in and see a psychiatrist after having Loki. I'm still on that waiting list.
I've had
another kid since. Haven't heard back. All they said to me was, here's some antidepressants. And I said, I'm not fucking depressed. I don't want to be on antidepressants. And they're like,
I just want someone to talk to.
Well, just to say, like I said, I hadn't really spoken to many people about it, and I thought like something's wrong. I mean, something is wrong, but I'm still in my journey to figure it out. Okay, I still don't actually know what's wrong.
But I think that's why I started to work, is because I was so depressed and I was like, I can't live like this anymore.
Yeah.
So I had to find a healthy outlet for the way that I was feeling, because I can't rely on the system.
My phone's on loud.
I can't rely on other people to take my load, you know.
Yeah.
I can't trauma dump on somebody else. I've got to figure out ways that I can cope.
Yeah. I think it's definitely, a lot of it is just keeping your mind busy, but I mean that's so much easier said than done.
But is
being
it
a stay-at-home mum
busy
with 5 kids
or avoiding?
Like avoiding your thoughts.
Like avoiding how you're really feeling, you know, like instead of just sitting down talking about and getting the help that you need, are you just keeping your mind busy and doing things to,
It's a good point.
you
I don't
know,
know. Like maybe it's hard. Like when I was a teenager, I was on and off antidepressants, and I was always like, I'm just so depressed. But now, like I look back on it, wasn't depressed. I don't think it was probably some hormone imbalance or like who knows. I don't think it was anything. But their first thing is just here's some antidepressants.
yeah, 100%.
And I don't know if you've been on them, but all they do is just like you're not happy, you're not sad, you can't come, like you are numb.
Yeah.
And I think for some people that's important to maybe get to that level so they can get help. But for a permanent solution, like absolutely not. And I can't imagine that for a mum with this fresh little baby who's already feeling so anxious to then feel numb.
Yeah.
Like fucked up.
We can't discredit the fact that for some people, like I've read mixed reviews that it has helped them.
I think it's
get out of bed every day, and it's just like, okay, that's good for you. I'm so glad it's worked. I'm someone that is against the pharmaceutical industry. It's needed in terms of like life or death, but I'm definitely into like more of a holistic approach. But yeah, as my
holistic,
and here we go. I'm having a drink at the same time, or whatever. I think that's like, yeah, it got to that point, and Jeremy's like, you really needed to like talk to someone about how you're feeling and things like that. It's like, no, I'm fine. Don't need anything. I'm great. And then my postpartum journey, I started to get migraines.
Oh, really?
That's where it started, and that's where I went and saw Dr. Dyer at Sheffield, and she's a holistic. She's fully qualified doctor. She just takes a holistic approach.
Yeah.
And I told her about my migraines, and she like took my hormone levels. Like she was great, and she got my results back, and she's like, look, your hormones seem fine. It's just you've got really high cortisol, and you need to find things in your life that are going to bring that stress down.
Yeah.
So I started drinking. No jokes.
So I started drinking and vaping.
No.
And running a business.
So then it was like, okay, I need to balance out my work and do things that make me not stressed.
Yeah.
So there's other things that come into play, like creating and doing flower arrangements or whatever that brings like my cortisol down. So my migraines and my postpartum journey have like healed so much since then. But then there's still some days it's just like this.
But like, it's just so hard because I think most people are probably just like that, right? You can't always be good. You got to crash. It doesn't. But then I don't know. Like this is what we were talking about the other day. Is there somebody out there that has never worried about nothing? Who's
Hello.
just like, da 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 da. My life's so good, and they eat their breakfast and they have their dinner, and they're just like, what another perfect day. And then go to sleep and sleep the whole 10 hours.
It surely can't be like the movies. Like there's no one.
There's surely not a person out there like that.
No.
Reach out. I want to interview you, you psychopath.
Isn't that funny that, sorry, backtracking, my mind does this sometimes. This is how my mind works. You just said before it was like, you know, you want antidepressants when you were younger, and it was just like, no, you actually have like a neurodivergency. You got ADHD.
Yeah, so we were talking about that the other day too, hey.
Instead of just like looking at the whole, they're just like, here you go. This will fix you.
And it's hard though because like I'm a bit the same. I mean, I was so just like everything needs a label. Like I used to be like that. Like, oh, I'm depressed. I have anxiety. Now I just think some of these things are probably just personality traits for me.
I'm just human.
Yeah, but like since so Fletcher recently just got his diagnosis of ADHD. That's my eldest. And I was really on this weird ledge of whether to medicate him or not. We've decided to medicate him for a bit. But when I was diagnosing him, and I'm like going tick, tick.
Like,
and then I'm going, hang on a damn minute, tick, tick, tick. And then the more I realised, I ticked a lot of the boxes. ADHD is genetic as well.
Yeah.
But it made so much sense to me. I don't know if, I think this will help a lot of people, but I never fit in like a depressed box. Anxiety, I didn't really tick all the boxes for that. Then I started to wonder with these obsessive thoughts, like I've got OCD. My house is not clean enough for OCD. But I thought maybe
or
like the
it could also
thoughts.
be like a PTSD response as well. If you've been in traumatic situations or bad relationships, it could be your
maybe
as well.
But yeah, I just didn't tick enough boxes. I thought like personality disorder was another one. So I thought I'm so up and then I'm down, like bipolar.
Yeah.
And then when I realised that I ticked more all the boxes for ADHD.
You're like, fuck.
Fuck. And then the GP was like, yep, do you know how common it is for mums to figure it out once they're diagnosing their kids? And that so many people that have been diagnosed with these mental illnesses, and sure, they still have these things, but instead of being on antidepressants or anti-anxiety or whatever, if they were more so medicated to ADHD, it could solve most of these problems.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, then it's still hard because you're just medicating.
Yeah.
And I'm so on the, like, I'm on a seesaw with it. I think, yep, medicate. And then other days I'm like, have some rosemary and an amethyst crystal and figure it out.
Sit under the moon, recharge.
I'm so both. But, yeah, when I figured all that out, it's been good. But figuring it all out hasn't helped me. I'm not like laying in bed with no thoughts going, this is nice.
No, but I think it's like coming to the realization, okay, I'm not anxiety. It's not anxiety. I'm not depressed. Maybe it could be this.
My brain's wired.
The way that your brain has been wired throughout your whole life, what you were born with. And it's like, okay, this is me just being fucking ADHD. Or this is just me being me. Like, it's just like whatever now. It's not like I'm so depressed. Like, why am I like this?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a falling and down to the abyss sort of thing. It's just like, that's who I am, whatever.
I still would really like to talk to someone. I think it would be healthy to talk to someone. I've done therapy before.
How was that?
Yeah, I remember at the time thinking it helped. This was while I had Fletcher. This was like when he was 2, I think. And I went and did it all, and I was on my antidepressants, and I thought it really helped. But I don't know. You kind of solve the problems yourself.
I think that's what therapy is for.
Is it? Okay. Well, then it was fine then. Where they sort of go, like, it was really like, yep, okay. So, and how did that make you feel? And then you go, yeah, really shitty. But then I went for like back then I was going to the gym and stuff. But then I went to the gym and I was all good. She goes, yes, that's very good.
Take note of that. Gold star.
Yeah. And then you get a treat, and then it's like, ding.
That's what therapy is. It's about giving you the tools to think about this stuff when you're by yourself. Say you have a problem and you're like, why am I feeling like this? Instead of talking to like a therapist, you're like, well, how did that make me feel? Why did I do that? Is there a reason? Or did it make me feel good? Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, I better not do that anymore.
Yeah.
So therapy just like triggers that. So that's why therapy is good, because it gives you like other tools or other ways of thinking.
Yeah.
But using yourself to think.
Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to retrain my brain, though. I don't know how.
What they used to do in the old days? They used to like stick something in the woman's
an lobotomy.
a lobotomy.
Lobotomy.
Oh,
that's what I'm going to need.
that was like the thing that
Replace my brain.
I was on TikTok and I was about this woman that was the first one to do it. And anyway, I don't want to talk about it, but
Don't. Now I'm spiraling. Now I'm just going to be thinking about lobotomy.
who does lobotomies? No.
Who does them? Yes. So what were we up to? Let's backtrack a schmidge.
So it just opens up all these loopholes.
It does.
Man.
I knew this would happen too. Now we're talking about ADHD.
Now we're spiraling.
We're spiraling. So
Spiral
basically
squad.
after Bloom, when you started working and once she was a little bit older, like things sort of got easier for you, or do you feel like you're still trying to figure it all? I mean, we're always figuring it out, but
I'm still going to figure it out to the day I die, I think. But when Bloom started walking at 8 months old,
Jesus.
my life was significantly better. Because I'm like, cool, she's walking around, she's moving around, we can go for walks now, and like
She's a bit more like a person.
she's more like a little person, and
Yeah.
like she's saying mama, and I'm like, so
So
cute.
cute. Yeah.
But now that I'm out of that deep baby stage, she's 4 now.
Yeah.
I'm starting to love being a mother, and I'm starting to love my motherhood journey so much more. I think it's because she's talking. I can like negotiate with her. She's like, I want a lollipop for breakfast, and I'm like, you can have a lollipop after you eat your cereal, you know.
It's just like a roommate.
But there's not just like this little, like when she was a baby, her screaming and crying would trigger me.
Yeah.
That would make me spiral.
I literally have a friend who now, her daughter is like 7, I think. I'm not going to say names to any of these people. I don't think I have. I just keep
Anonymous.
saying a friend.
Yeah.
I have lots of mum friends.
It's not our story to share, really.
But her daughter's 7, and all she did was scream for like the first year. And then if my kids scream now, she's like, oh, like you can just, she goes,
Yeah.
it just triggers me. It just puts me in fight or flight immediately. She's
Yeah.
like, not even my own kid. Isn't that crazy?
Honestly,
Something like that.
I would be the same, but because I took on photography and I started working with
with babies,
children and babies, they made me so anxious to photograph, but I knew it was something that would help me grow. And now it's like, Oh, you're screaming and crying. It's fine.
It's like when they hand you the baby, you're just like, yep, no worries.
That's all right.
But
I'll
they're
get him
just
to
like
sleep.
trying to hold them really gently.
I'm totally like swaying them from side to side.
I think it's like an egg.
But yeah, I think through my work, and that's why it's so important to find something that fulfills you when you're going through like these really spiraling bad stages in your life, to keep you like on track. It's like, that's what did it for me.
I think like,
It pulled me out of that.
But even, I mean, it's so hard because I'd love to just be like, get out there and go to play groups and go meet people. But that's fucked up. Like, I wouldn't like to do that. But I had friends that did, and I went with them, and it does help. Like, you end up meeting like a small circle of people, and you just go, my kid's an asshole. And they're like, yeah, man, mine too. And you're like, oh, thank God.
Oh, don't call the cops
You
on
think
me.
about your newborn baby falling in a tank? Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
It's about finding those people that make you feel less alone in the fucking world, because
Yeah.
it can feel so lonely. And like when you're in that shit, it's just like tunnel vision, and you feel like no one else experiences
But you're
that.
also looking at Facebook of people just posting their cute little baby and being like, I love this.
Yeah, but it's all a lie.
Yeah. I mean, they do love it, I'm sure.
No.
They're not just like, fuck this baby.
No, but like sometimes I see people go out with their children, like had the best day at like a theme park, and I'm like, I have a child now. I was like, I know they had a good day in terms of they made a cool memory, but it was fucking stressful.
Yeah, the whole way there.
Like there's
till we got the
oh
photo.
my God, shitting themselves and them changing nappies on the side of the road. I just know.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So you had Loki and you really went through it with him, but like what happened when Dex came along?
So I had Loki, and then when he was 6 months old, I found out I was pregnant again, and I just bawled I just remember just crying. Prior to all of that, like maybe a month before I found out I was pregnant with Dexter, I remember crying in Terry's arms, like he's fucked up. And I was like, I'm really, really scared about dying. I don't know what it is.
She's
I'm
a
scared
hypochondriac.
Yeah, I am. I think it runs in my family.
Is your mum the same?
I don't know about my mum, but I know my nan is really fearful of things and really just thinks about things. And I remember her mum was like proper hypochondriac, R.I.P. But like proper. And I remember everyone used to call her like.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting that.
Like I was only 5. I just remember everyone saying she's a hypochondriac. But yeah, and I remember like sitting in Terry's arms, like sobbing, just being like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. And he goes, okay. Like, he was being so good, just patting me back, going, okay, I know. Like, what the fuck are you supposed to say to someone
You
like
can't.
that?
You just have to let them go through it.
Yeah, and I just kept saying, I just don't want to be in the abyss of black. There's just nothing. There's nothing after this.
Those pregnancy hormones were kicking in.
Well, yeah, true. I probably was pregnant now I think about it. But then I had Dexter, and I probably checked out a little bit with him. I felt like I was really maternal with Loki, more so than than Fletcher. I don't know if maternal is the right word. I think I was just so protective over Loki because I was so fucking scared. And then with Dexter, I was a bit more like blasé, but I think it's because I had 2 babies.
Yeah.
So then I was just terrified of something happening to the both of them. I kept having this thought, because Fletcher had just started kinder the day I come out of hospital with Dexter. So I was home with 2 kids and taking Fletcher to school. And I kept having this thing that I left Dexter in his capsule under the tyre. Every time I'd get in the car, I'd go, oh my God, no, you didn't put him down. Like, I never put him down anyway. And I said, Fletcher, head count. And he'd go, Loki's in the car. I'm in the car.
Thank God
Dexter's
Fletcher
in the
could
car.
speak and he could do a fucking head count.
But every time. And, like, that was what got me. And then I think from Dexter, I just got progressively worse and worse. Like, every time I drove over a bridge still. Like, this is what I mean. I don't want to give out people ideas and now people are going to obsess over it. But, like, every time
this is your experience. These are your thoughts.
Every time I drive over a bridge, I get the same thought of how would I get the 3 kids out? How would I get 3 kids out of their car seats? Like, as if I'm just rearing off the fucking road. But every time
it's the same as when I'm driving. It's like, lock your doors, because what if you're pulled up at the lights and someone tries to get in? And I'm like, but what if I have an accident? How am I going to unlock the door? And like, I can't unlock the door because I've locked it. And I'm just like, holy fuck, I'm stuck in this car. Like, what if the windows aren't broken, you know? And it's just like spiral.
Right?
Yeah.
But I've said this stuff to Terry before, and oh, what a healthy brain. And he's just like, I've never thought about that. And he means that in the nicest way possible.
Okay,
and I
Terry's
go, what
gonna,
a fucking treat.
He's
You've never thought about that?
donate his brain to science.
To science. He's ADHD. Why doesn't he have this
No,
type of
because
ADHD?
I can say Jeremy's the same as me. Like, if we're driving along, we were at the shops one time, we were driving along, this man was like approaching our car.
Was he just trying to cross
He was
the
like
road?
tunnel vision on like Bloom, and he was like, nah, lock the door. He was like, that man, I swear that man was gonna like take my kids.
What was he doing?
He was just, I don't know. He looked really sketchy.
Yeah,
Like, not
okay.
gonna lie, he looked like he was actually going to approach the car, but Jeremy was
Imagine
like,
when he
no,
heard the door lock. He's like, man, I was just trying to cross the road.
just wanted to take your kid. No. But Jeremy also does have like those thoughts as well, and like
So there's a man out there that does.
he
a
goes
trait.
around at night time. He makes sure all the doors are locked, everything's secure, because his worst fear is someone coming in at night and taking Bloom. 100%. He has those thoughts, and I'm
That's
like,
me.
I sleep with the front door open.
Oh,
I'm
you're
like, take me.
Terry,
No,
psychopath.
jokes.
Take me.
Don't
me
take the
away.
kid. Take me.
Take me on a vacay.
But yeah, no, he does have a brain like that as well. So I'm like,
So I wonder what that is though, because I know some people don't have. It's like triggering. I don't know how else to explain it. I hate the word triggering because I feel like it's so overused. Where people are like, that triggers me, but this proper, like it just spins me off as soon as I like drive over a bridge. Or like the other day we went to the maze and Terry was wearing Dexter, like baby wearing him, and I kept having this thought of him falling down and squishing him. But then not only was he squished, I could see that he was squished. Yeah.
like you're
And then so then my brain
visualising it
goes
all.
like, holy fuck. And then it goes, want to see it again? And then it'll just keep showing me it. Oh, like,
Yeah.
so I'm sitting in the car like shaking.
That's 100% like OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Everyone thinks OCD is like
Clean.
neatening up everything in a straight line. No, it's thoughts. Your thoughts just go on a loop.
Yeah.
And it keeps showing you these things, and it's like compulsive.
It's like it's trying to hurt you.
If you didn't get Dexter out of that carrier and like say look after him, your brain would just keep showing you that.
Well, so it kept doing it. But a big thing for me is, oh God, it does sound a bit OCD, is that I just won't do it. I just have to prove to myself that nothing was going to happen, because it's hard for my brain to realize that it's not a sign from, like, I don't even believe in God, but I'm like, that's a sign. That's like the TikTok thing. I'm like, that's a sign.
I believe in
That
the
I should've-
universe.
The universe is funny. But yeah, like I think, well, it's like my sixth sense. But nothing's ever come true. Well, some stuff does. Nothing gruesome.
Yeah, but are you manifesting it?
Oh, well, that's what I'm fucking worried about. I put my amethyst out too early. Now my baby's squished in the baby carrier.
No, but I really need a wee. So can we pause this?
Hopefully. Pause. Down here. Oh, did you? I've got the whole 4-pack over.
You're a bloody legend, mate.
Onesie legend.
Australian.
Right. Well, is
Did
there
you
any?
press play? Okay, you
She's
did.
recording.
Sorry, pee break. Weak bladder.
But I think it's crazy. Yeah, I would definitely say I guess it would be anxiety, but I think it's very, like, I don't know.
I think
It's anxiety, but probably just little taste of OCD or something obsessive. I definitely need to see a doctor. I definitely need to talk to someone about it.
But then again, I feel like there's a lot of people that feel the same. So it's just like,
Keep talking. I'm just going to make sure this is recording.
I can't talk to myself. I can't talk to myself. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. I can't talk to myself. I feel like everyone would experience those like obsessive thoughts as well.
Yeah, well, after so like I end up talking to some friends about it. You know, just little snippets. Nothing too much that would send me, incriminating. They're like, do you ever think about putting your baby somewhere or other? They're like, oh yeah, and I'm like, oh my God, really? I was like, I honestly thought I was going fucking mental, and
But you also hear those freak stories. Like, example, there was a grandmother looking after their 2-year-old. She went inside quickly. She drowned in a puddle. It's a Reddit story, and
See, this is why I've had to
it's
delete.
legitimate things though that have happened, and you read that and you're like, holy fuck, that's hectic. And then I feel like other people's experiences, as now that you're a mother, you take on board those stories, and you're like, if it happened to them, like,
I think that is so true, and that is why I'm really trying to peel back on social media, because I just know that that's what like rots my brain. And like I always try to like think, there's such this in the world now, everyone's so anxious and fucking depressed and whatever, there's all this shit going on, but we're not supposed to know what's going on even in the town fucking over, you know what I mean? But now for some our poor little bodies are hearing the news of everyone and everything in the whole world. Like, no wonder we're so fucking overwhelmed.
The problem is that our world, we're so fast paced.
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me. We're so self-aware in terms of we know everything that's going on in the world now. It's so much for our brains to handle. Like, we're trying
It's
to
too
keep
much.
our lives afloat, and then here we are feeling sorry for someone else's story, or something
Yeah.
that's happening in a different country, or hearing about something that is happening in other people's worlds. It's just like a lot.
Even like,
It's
what,
compounds.
20, 30 years ago, our mums would not have known, oh, maybe with the news, but still not like in the faces like it is now of what the fuck is going on anywhere else.
Yeah.
You know, and like with TikTok and stuff, you know, you're like, oh, that's so sad that that man died. And then it's like, oh, cute, a puppy. And then you're like, oh, there's, you know, this has happened. And you're like, oh, cute. What a good recipe. Like, that is fucked. I could literally still have tears streaming down my face from the last video. And then a funny reel comes up. You're like, that is fucked up.
It playing on your emotions already, because we're already like a species that go up and down, and then it's like you have something that experiences that times faster, like 10 times.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I ended up, I mean, I quit TikTok, but I replaced it with fucking Instagram reels. So like I'm at like the top of my game.
See, I did Instagram reels and then I went to TikTok because I'm like, Instagram's not fast enough.
But like so I've got my work one, so I've got my photography page and I have my personal. And my personal is basically Rowan and I throwing back Theo Von memes. So that's a nice, safe place to be. But then I'll be scrolling and something will detour and it's not Theo Von anymore and it's like depressing. So then I have to get on my work one. That's my safe one. Because it's all just photography and posing. I'm like, it's safe here. It can't get me here.
See, I think it's like watching things like that, like TikToks or reels or whatever, you definitely have to be in that frame of mind to be able to like handle it. So like now that I watch TikToks and stuff like that and I'm listening to other people's stories or whatever, I'm like, oh, that's so sad, but I like let it go. I'm like,
what a dream.
You know, I don't spiral into what they're dealing with or whatever. I'm just like, haha, whatever, like move on sort
Not
of thing.
even once. Every time I spiral.
No, that's why I don't go on social media when I'm feeling bad. Like now,
right.
Now I've got boundaries. Okay, when I'm
yeah.
feeling bad, I stay away from social media, but I never did before.
Yeah.
I'm listening to how I'm feeling now, but yeah, you have to be in the right frame of mind to be able to be on social media.
That is honestly so fucking true. Because even like, you know, if you're already feeling down about your body, for example, or whatever, and then, you know, you get on there and there's like some fucking supermodel that just had a kid 3 days ago and has a 6-pack back, and you're just like, are you fucking joking? Like, that could be enough to spiral.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
but now I'm just like, if I see that, I'm like, you go, girlfriend. Like,
it's so hard because I'm so, like, I can't remember. I was talking about this yesterday, but like, I'm so thankful for social media. I can run my whole business from it. Like, you know, back in the day, how the fuck, other than business cards and flyers, or, you know, word of mouth, I can put up a Facebook post and someone sees my photo in Melbourne and go, I love that. When I'm in Tassie next, I'm coming down or whatever. But fuck, I hate it. I fucking hate it. I would love to delete my personal, but honestly, it's embarrassing, but I'm addicted to social media. And if you're not, you're a fucking liar.
You and half of the population.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I try to set boundaries with it, and I guess I have, you know, in some pieces, but as soon as you have a spare minute, don't you just pick up your phone and just do a quick little
how does
scroll?
that make you feel, Maddie? No, see, I'm
Let me
coming.
think about it.
No, but going backtracking now is where you said we got to keep our minds busy so we don't spiral and all that sort of stuff. It's like that's what it is.
Yeah.
Instead of you spiraling, you're keeping yourself busy. That's why you're addicted to social media, because that's your regulation.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, you even watch it.
Like, why can't I just play ping pong outside?
Yeah, why can't I just go for a walk or like sit in the grass barefoot? I don't know who I was.
Grass barefoot.
I was talking to somebody about. So Fletcher had an iPad for a little bit when he was really young.
Yeah.
And it threw him. Like, he was just emotional wreck asshole. So he hasn't had one for years. He's got one now for Netflix occasionally that he uses. But then I thought, I was saying the other day, how big his emotions were after sitting in a screen all day. Is that what my problem is? Is it because I'm staring at a screen all the time? I'm so dysregulated that I'm just like, blah.
You think you're regulating and then you're off of it and you're like,
right?
Everyone get out of my way.
Like, embarrassing. If my phone's sitting somewhere and I'm doing some jobs, if I'm not fully busy, I'm thinking about like going back and checking my phone.
Yeah, that
like
was me the other
sometimes
day.
I get really anxious and I can't just leave it there.
That was me the other day. I put my phone on charge. It was like on 5%. And I was like,
I hate putting them on the charger.
I'm like, I better go clean the kitchen. Like
I got to keep my brain busy so I don't want to go on
mundane
my
job.
phone.
But when I see mess, I spiral. Like I have to have my clean house. I'm fucked.
A dirty kitchen bench.
So if I'm on my phone because I don't see the mess outside around me, but I was like, I better go clean it. It's nearly dinner time, whatever. I put my phone on charge, went to the kitchen, and I just had that pull. And it was like,
Isn't it weird?
go check on your phone. Go check. You got a notification right now. Go check on it. Go see someone's talking to you. Could be an inquiry. You don't know. And
you could
I'm
be
like,
missing out on a $2,000 bill.
and I'm thinking, fuck sake. So I went and checked. I'm like, no notifications. And I'm like, okay, go back. 5 minutes later, go check on your phone. And I'm just like, it's just like a never-ending cycle. And that's when I'm like, okay,
Okay.
I need to put the fucking phone down. Like I need to just do something and like do my house chores or do my laundry.
Something. Anything.
Yeah. So that's what it gets like.
So basically all we've learnt today is it's normal to be a nut job after having a baby and everyone should
Pretty
delete social media.
much. Let's just normalize this shit. It's just a thought. It's just whatever.
Yeah. Look, I'm not at that. It's just a thought, whatever stage, but I'm getting there. I
Go
like to tell
outside and
myself
walk.
that.
I'm barefoot.
Yeah, with my amethyst. Is there anything else that you really wanted to get out? I feel like I got out everything I wanted to say. I just wanted to say about all my awful intrusive thoughts. I think that's what they're called. I don't actually think I said that, but they're called like intrusive
That's
thoughts.
OCD, darling.
I wish I just got the cleaning.
So you got like impulsive, and that's ADHD. They like act on their thoughts and they do this like
I'm the
rebellious shit.
opposite. How can I have ADHD but be scared of everything?
So like
then?
Fletcher, he's got ADHD. Sorry, Fletcher, I'm using it. He's impulsive, and like if he has a thought, he's like, I'm gonna go run around outside. And Mum told me to sit in the car, but I'm gonna go
Treat.
run anyway.
Yeah.
Like the other morning that he did, and that's impulsive. But intrusive is like, am I gonna drop this kid?
All the time.
That's the,
Like
and then
now
it's like, no, I'm not gonna drop this kid. It's like your brain's like, yes, you will. And it was like, no, I'm not.
But it's literally arguing with yourself.
You are arguing with yourself 24/7. I
That's
get
why
it.
I thought I had like bipolar or like the one where you have multiple personalities. Because I thought one of them's like the bad one of me, and it's like, yes, we're gonna drive off the Devonport Bridge.
And you're like, yeah. So that's what it's like. Normalize that you have these thoughts and you have these feelings. You're not fucked up. But if you're feeling like your world is crumbling around you and inside of you, and you're on your way to just not being in a good place, seek help. Talk to someone
Please.
about it.
Yeah,
It's fine. Like you can come to me, come to Maddie.
Yep.
We're not going to judge you.
absolutely not. We had heaps of people messages after putting it up on our stories, and I had heaps of chats with people. God, I felt less crazy. Like
Yes.
proper.
There was one story that we got replied to, and it was about like a psychosis, and I was like,
She actually sent me the story to share.
yeah, and I was
So I'll
like,
share that.
I've been there before in my life, so I fully understand where she's coming from. So I was like, she's had psychosis. I'm not alone. There's other people in
Yeah.
the world that have experienced that. Like that's, I shouldn't say that's amazing, but like,
Well, that's
it's not good. But like, I'm not alone. I'm not someone that's only experienced that in my life.
It's because you just feel alone, don't you?
Yeah.
In the time, and I think once you start to come out the other end, you realize you can almost laugh about it. That's why we actually put out a thing that was, what was your weirdest postpartum cry about?
Especially because now that Maddie and I work together, we take it in shifts. Like one fortnight she's down in the dumps and I'm good, and then the next fortnight I'm down in the dumps.
It really does work well.
And it's really good rotating shift that we've got going here. But like it's the same thing. Like Maddie's like, how you doing today? And I'm like, I feel like shit. And it's like, okay.
Okay.
It's normal to talk about it. Like, let's talk about it. Let's make it a thing. Like,
Yeah.
there's other people in our circle that feel the same.
Yeah. So true. So true.
So we have some stories to share of like people's
We
experiences.
I'm trying to find them.
We've made some polls on Instagram. If you don't follow us on Instagram, it's just Wildlands Education. Even though it's photography related, we've tried to make it personal.
Yeah.
We just shared your postpartum journey. Do you have anything that you would like to share your experiences with? So Maddie's just finding that on her phone right now.
Yeah. So so we're swapping between two questions. One of them was, what was your weirdest postpartum cry about? And then another one was, I don't know. I'll find it when I get to it. But we had one that was on my way home to Queenstown, which is about maybe 2 and a bit hours away from the closest McDonald's. So I imagine this poor woman has got a McDonald's, perhaps had been driving for an hour and a half before thinking, let me eat this.
Camping on the East Coast or something.
And said, where we are living, and I asked for extra pickles on my cheeseburger. Started to eat it. They gave me none. You know what? Like I said to her, I'm going to be honest, that would have set me off now because it does. I asked for extra pickles and for some reason they hear no pickles.
I'd be back in that drive-through say, excuse me, where's my pickles?
Another one was my weirdest cry was because I hated the taste of potato and gravy. It was my biggest craving and now I can't eat it at all anymore.
It's funny because like most of these are food related. So I feel like food is like what keeps women on track. Like if you eat good food or food that you're craving, you're happy.
Yeah, regulates them. Sent my hubby to the shop to get me a bag of pineapple lumps. He came home with a tin of fucking pineapple chunks. I cried when I realised the tinned pineapple wasn't a joke. He'd never ever heard of the lollies. Relatable. And like relatable now. I'm so fussy when it comes to my food. If I'm craving that and Terry goes, let me cook it. I'm like, no. Keep your dirty paws to yourself. I'll make it. Because I know he'll do it wrong. Won't be what I want. Oh, hang on, that's my kid. I would cry over nothing. I'd just be sitting there and burst into tears. At 5 p.m, I would have this impending doom. Such a weird feeling. That's so true.
Actually,
witchy hour, isn't that what they call it?
Witching hour, isn't that like
Witching hour?
in the morning?
Well, I think they all have different ones. I always thought it was at dinner time while you're trying to cook tea and like the TV's going, the dog's barking and the baby's crying.
I still get that now. There's no TV on in my house after 5 p.m. because it's so overstimulating. I'm just like,
Another one was, so these were like your weirdest, like intrusive thought, I guess, that you had. Yeah. I can't think of how I worded the question. I can't find it. But I woke up all the time thinking that my newborn baby was running around the house. She was 6 weeks old.
Oh my goodness. No, that's just a ghost, bro.
Just a ghost.
That's just a paranormal coming out for you.
Another one is that I would trip and drop Bub down the stairs and she would die.
Oh my goodness.
Horrific. But I had that thought. I don't even have stairs. And
okay.
About the
stairs. I had a dream. My niece was born. She's now 18, so she was just born, so I would have been like 12 at the time.
Yeah.
I had a dream that I was holding her and I dropped her and I woke up and I was like, I still have that thought today. I'm like, well, like I'm so lucky I didn't drop her. Like I could have dropped her.
As if it was real.
As if it was real, but that was before I was even with child. I was 12 years old. Oh my God, I've got problems.
That's wild. Jesus. Another one was, I mean, I laugh, but it's like I laugh because it's funny now. But at the time, I know how overwhelming the fear is. But this one is that I would wake up in the middle of the night, not 100% conscious, and try to bath my baby.
No.
You laugh because that's funny now. But at the time, that is fucking scary that you think, what if I'm half asleep and try to bath my baby and then like go back to bed? Like, fuck. Another one was I was accidentally going to put Griffin on the hood of my car, a newborn baby, and drive off like he was a coffee.
I just pictured a coffee just flying right now. Fucking hell. Those intrusive thoughts are so real.
Another one was I still don't, it's not irrational, but I get the fucking ick over people trying to kiss my kid. Agreed.
No jokes.
Keep your dirty fucking lips off other people's
100%.
babies. Gross. There's no need to.
No.
No need to kiss someone else's baby.
No. Not while they're so little.
Nah. Convinced myself that Harvey stopped breathing in the capsule, so I had to pull over to make sure multiple times.
Oh my God.
Or I was scared a car would run up the curb and hit the pram. I still have that one.
That's fucking hectic. But the breathing one I can relate to because I thought that the day that Bloom was born, I was like, she stopped breathing.
I actually had a family in the other day or the other week, and they were saying that something had happened. They had their newborn baby in the car. I think, God, I hope I don't butcher this story. Something along them lines, and she just had this feeling and she couldn't see him in the mirror and she pulled over and he was having a seizure.
Holy fuck.
Like a brand new baby. And I was like, oh my God, what made you turn around? She goes, I just had this feeling.
Intuition.
I was like, I have those feelings all the fucking time though. So how do you know the difference between the real ones?
Well, it's good you had that thought. You better be safe and sorry.
I wonder if she has those thoughts anymore. These were crying ones again. A friend posted that she had no friends on Facebook. I scream cried. And I put too much milk in my mashed potatoes. Girl, that would set me off.
I did that tonight. They were very runny mashed potatoes.
I hate that.
You just meant to add flour, but you know what? I couldn't be fucked.
What time did you have tea?
Well, we eat dinner at like 3:34.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
That's weird. What'd you have for tea?
Because Bloom doesn't nap anymore, so she gets hungry. But instead of giving her a snack, I give her dinner, and then she can have snacks after. Otherwise, she's like, "I want a snack, mum. I want a snack, mum. I want a snack."
I had two more stairs. Yeah, so another one was that I'd trip falling down the stairs. We don't even have stairs. That's so true. Or someone else was petrified the taxidermy deer would fall off the wall onto my baby. It was held up by 4 large screws.
Oh my goodness.
That is pretty much all I had for those. I do have the psychosis story. However, I think she sent 2 screenshots, but I feel like she's accidentally sent the same one twice, so there's not quite an ending to it. But basically, I'm going to keep her anonymous because I wasn't sure whether she wanted me to share her name or not. But she was saying when she was 7 months pregnant, my best friend had a stillborn and couldn't bear to be around me. Many friends thought I abandoned her, leaving me isolated with only my partner and my son. After giving birth to a healthy baby girl, I felt overwhelming shame. A week postpartum, I became paranoid, believing my friends were out to get me. We moved from Canberra to Brisbane for safety, arriving just before the global lockdown. My psychosis worsened. I heard laughing and saw shadow people and felt increasingly unsafe. I often handed my daughter to my partner, fearing I might hurt her. Hiding all my hallucinations, I struggled with daily tasks and quit my job due to the anxiety. When my mum had a brain aneurysm, I flew to Canberra with my kids. I managed her affairs while she was in a coma, but returned home to a deteriorating relationship. Admitted to hospital for self-harm and an attempt. I don't know if we're allowed to say that. So I tried to mend things with my partner, but he moved back to Canberra. So I think I'm missing half the story there. But that is fucking scary.
Yeah.
Shadow fucking people and laughing and stuff. And I've heard that story before. Obviously not from her, but like other people where they've seen the shadow people and, you know, out of the corner of their eye and thinking that everyone's out to get them. That must be awful.
It's definitely like a PTSD, like flight or fight response, because you're just obviously going through it with a baby and the mind is just...
That is
scary.
Exactly. The mind can be the most scariest place, like, in the whole entire world. So, I mean, hopefully she might get back in touch and finish the rest of the story and how she's sort of come out the other end. But I wanted to share it anyway because she sent it in to share because same thing. She didn't really ever hear of it, didn't know about it, and just thought that she was, like, going fucking mental.
Yeah. And that's really fucking scary. And it's really fucking sad because, like...
Could you imagine
some people
feeling,
just need help, you know, and it's so hard to ask for help. You don't know her story. If she went to the hospital and did she get that help that she needed? Yeah. She seems okay now.
Yeah, I know. When we were talking a bit before she actually sent her story in, she basically said to me that let me try and find exactly what she said, but basically that photography is what's really helped her keep her brain busy, kept thinking about other things,
kept her in reality, talking to people.
Yeah, she said my mental health has been a journey, but what has helped was starting my business. I'm so glad you've got so many people to share their stories.
And she's the nicest person. Well, we haven't met her in person, but we've spoken to her over the internet. Yeah. And she seems like the most down-to-earth, chill person.
Yeah, which is so good. But fuck, I can't even. Having a little baby and having to deal with that shit.
No,
horrific.
It's fucking scary.
So as a reminder, if you are feeling these things, please book in and go see your GP. And hopefully they will help you. And if you feel like that they're not and they're blowing you off, fucking try again because women's health is disgusting.
Even if you don't have to see a public healthcare system, like a public GP, like put the money in and go see... like paid to see someone privately.
Yeah, if you can.
Like I pay for my holistic doctor. She's $120 for like a session or whatever.
Well, I mean, isn't a
she's
normal
worth
doctor like $80?
You get rebate of like half of that or something like that.
Yeah.
But still, they're just gonna be like, "You're fine."
A lot of them do. That's why you got to just keep pushing until
When
you
I
get
was
one.
19 and I was going through a hard time, I went to my local GP and I said to him, I really need to be on a mental health plan. I'm not feeling good. And he said, you're not anxious. You're not depressed. That doesn't exist. You're fine.
Pardon?
So I left there screaming at him saying, you're a fucking dickhead. So how was I not fine? I'm like abusing you and because you're saying nothing's wrong with me. I'm asking you for help. I'm being vulnerable and you're saying it's all in your head.
And like, unfortunately, they're so like, that's a whole nother thing itself is I bet you every single woman you know has been, what do you call it? Like dismissed at a doctor's for real pain or real,
also men as well have been dismissed.
Oh, of course. Very true.
But women in their postpartum journey or even before that.
Most of the time with periods or anything like that, there's just no and like to be fair, whether it's the doctor's fault or not, it's just that there's no real knowledge around it. You hear so many women with endometriosis or PCOS.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, that was a 10-year journey before I got answers for PCOS. Like, and there would be everyone that's sorry, I just hit the microphone. So many people.
She's
I would love
expressive.
I'd love to get into that eventually too. Like PCOS or endo or hormone imbalances, because a lot of people's troubles is hormone imbalances too.
Yep, that's
as you have found with your doctor.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. But I wasn't just sitting here scrolling.
Yes, please. I need to pee again.
I was just looking for a would you rather question. We don't have bosses, but I don't know if I want to answer that one. But would you rather accidentally send a naughty picture of you? So this one is to your dad or to your boss, but let's just say to your dad or your husband's boss. Boss, all day, every day.
Oh, no, that's so bad. None of the above.
You can't choose that.
I don't
I
want
can
to send...
ask you the other question, but
I
I'm telling
would
you
rather
don't want
send naughty pictures to OnlyFans and get paid for it.
Well, maybe Jez's boss will pay you for them. You don't know.
No.
Well,
No.
the other question is, would you rather walk in on your parents having sex or have them walk in on you? And that actually...
Both have happened to me.
Oh, my parents haven't been together since I was 1, so...
I have no memory.
I guess they can walk in on me.
I remember being little and seeing my mum and dad through like the crack of the door, and I was like, closed my eyes and just like walked away. And
No
I was
wonder
like,
you have mental health problems.
I know. And then the
Fuck
other
that.
time, Jeremy was over for this.
Do you want this on the podcast?
Yeah, fucking knows.
All right.
It's our ice breaking story.
To who? To other people?
To everyone. It's the first night he came over.
Yep.
We banged or whatever.
Yep.
And it was like early in the morning. It was like our third time, whatever. And my door is usually open. I usually sleep with my door open.
Yep.
Fresh air, whatever.
Did you live with your parents?
Lived with my parents in Queensland. My door was closed. And I used to go out and party a lot. So Dad opened the door at 6 o'clock in the morning to make sure I was like, see if I was in it.
See if you're in there.
Jeremy's balls deep inside of me. No! I lock eyes with my dad. I'm like, ah! And he's like, ah! And then he closes the door and I'm thinking, fuck me.
He said, ah.
We both screamed at each other and I was like walking in my bedroom. I was like, what am I going to do? I can't face him. And Jeremy's like, it's fine. It's
Really?
fine. We went out there. Mum was in the kitchen. He was like, oh, hello. Shook Mum's hand. I was like, and Jeremy to my mum, shook hands.
Wash 'em?
I said to Mum, I was like, that hand's been in my vagina, Mum.
You bunch
And
of grubs.
Mum's like, you're a fuckhead. And Jeremy's like, ha, 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 ha. And that was it. And I was like, then he was a part of the family. He was a part of furniture.
What did your dad say?
He said, lock the door next time.
Oh, my fucking God. Okay, well, you win that one. I might chop that up and make it a real maybe. But yeah, follow us on our socials. I should just have this as already a record.
Photos by Eisha.com.au.
You have to say it with that voice. Oh, that's right. You have a domain now. You're very official. Mine's like pixieset/32165. Maddie, what am I? Maddie Page Photography on Facebook and Instagram. And then our joint one is wildlens.education, I believe.
We're going to change it to postpartum education, no jokes.
Oh, I feel like we should take the education off. Just keep it Wildlens.
Wildlens,
because we're wild and we're in the lens.
Oh.
Hopefully everything recorded. We recorded on my camera today, so hopefully it's good. Ooh, I'm very over the top. Hopefully it's a very good recording and you can see our faces.
I should have got us some more hard solos. I really fucked up.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to us talk shit. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye. Say bye. Say bye.
See ya.